Help me hit 2,000 subscribers. That was the last line on the video I'd been editing when the text came in 2:07 a.m. A ding, a glow in the dark room, and her message lighting up the screen. I'm busy, I'll call later. No heart emoji. No explanation. Just that clipped, distant tone she'd started using over the past few months, the one I kept telling myself I was imagining. My chest tightened with a strange electric coldness, as if a wire inside me had snapped. Outside, the neighborhood was silent. The kind of dead, breathless quiet where even the streetlights seemed to hold their glow back. Our house felt too big, too hollow. I stared at the phone, reread the message 3 times, and tried to swallow the feeling crawling up my throat. Busy doing what? Busy with who? I typed. Are you okay? But deleted it. I didn't want to sound needy, or suspicious, or like the man I feared I was becoming, someone losing his grip on the truth. Instead, I set the phone down and stood by the window, watching the fog blur the driveway. A thin mist curled under the street lamps like something alive. Minutes passed. Then footsteps, fast ones pounding the walkway. The front door slammed open so hard the frame shuddered. She stumbled inside, trembling. God, she whispered, clutching her chest. Just lock the door. Please. Her hair was tangled, her breath uneven, her coat hanging off one shoulder. The look in her eyes punched straight through me. Fear, raw and unfiltered. But underneath that fear, something else flickered. Something she worked too hard to hide. Guilt. My voice came out rough. What happened? She shook her head. Nothing. I mean, just a bad night. I'll explain later. Now, I said. She flinched at the firmness in my tone. For months I'd been soft with her, too soft, tiptoeing around the widening silence between us, trying to preserve something that felt more like memory than marriage. She brushed past me, heading toward the bedroom. I just need to sleep. But I followed her. 'Cause something was wrong. Because I'd spent months rationalizing late shifts, secretive phone calls, weekend volunteering, that left her exhausted and glassy-eyed. Because the woman walking away from me now had the posture of someone running from the truth. Tell me what happened, I said again, quieter this time. She stopped with her back to me. For a long moment she didn't move, didn't speak. The air between us turned heavy, charged. My heartbeat matched the ticking of the bedside clock. Finally she answered, barely audible. He showed up. Who? She squeezed her eyes shut. Someone I used to know. A friend. A pause. Someone I shouldn't have seen. The floor beneath me seemed to tilt. A dull roar filled my ears. Where were you? I asked. She hesitated again, too long. At the studio. Just finishing a project. Then why didn't you pick up when I called? I told you I was busy. Busy. That same word again. A word with 1,000 cracks running through it. I stepped closer. Why are you trembling? She exhaled, shaky, uneven. Because he wouldn't leave me alone. I told him it was over. I told him I made a mistake. But he kept asking to talk. And then he grabbed my arm and my stomach twisted. He grabbed you. Another pause, short this time. Yes. Her voice cracked perfectly, like something rehearsed. But her hands weren't shaking anymore. They were still. Too still. Something icy slid down my spine. She was terrified, but not of him. Not really. It was something deeper. Something closer. Something standing right in front of her. Show me your arm, I said. She blinked. What? If he grabbed you, there should be marks. Show me. A long beat of silence. Then she shook her head. I'm not doing this. She tried to walk past me. I blocked her gently, not aggressively. Why won't you show me? Because I don't want to fight, she snapped, her voice breaking in the wrong places. But the truth was already leaking out of her eyes, her posture, her breath. There were no marks. Because no one grabbed her. Because no one chased her here. She'd run because she'd seen something or someone she wasn't supposed to. Who is he? I asked. Her jaw tightened. Tell me the truth. I am. Then why are you terrified of me finding out whatever you're hiding? That hit her like a slap. Her mask cracked. And beneath it, exhaustion, guilt, and something like deep, agonizing conflict. She sank onto the edge of the bed, covering her face with both hands. I didn't want you to know. My throat tightened. Know what? She didn't answer. She didn't have to. The silence told me everything. Still, I whispered it. Are you seeing him? Her shoulders collapsed inward. Not a denial. Not a scream. Not even a lie. Just a small broken inhale. She didn't have to say the word. The truth radiated off her like heat. My chest burned, my pulse thrumming behind my eyes. Anger surged sharp, blinding, but tangled with something more pathetic, hope. The desperate, irrational hope that maybe this was all just a misunderstanding. That she'd laugh, cry, confess something harmless. Is it over? I asked. She looked up slowly. And that silence, that split-second hesitation, destroyed me more than any confession could. I don't know, she whispered. A fault line opened inside me. I felt everything at once. The heartbreak, the fury, the disbelief, the shame of not seeing it sooner. Alongside the unbearable, pathetic love for her that refused to die. Why? My voice cracked. What did I do wrong? You didn't, she said. I did. For the first time, she didn't hide it. She didn't soften it. She didn't save me from the truth. I didn't plan it, she whispered. It just happened. And I tried to end it. Tonight was supposed to be the last time I saw him. But he said he wasn't ready to let go, Anne. And you. I cut in. Are you ready? She opened her mouth. Closed it. Opened it again. I don't know. The final blow. Simple. Honest. Deadly. She wasn't running from him tonight. She was running from the decision she knew she had to make. And from the moment the front door slammed behind her, she knew she'd already made it. I stepped back, feeling the room stretch and warp, my breath turning shallow. The woman I married, the woman I built my life around, sat in front of me, torn between guilt and longing, between me and a man whose name she couldn't bring herself to speak. A bitter laugh slipped out of me, soft, broken, hollow. God, I whispered. I almost believed your story. She flinched. Please don't hate me. I don't, I said. And that was the worst part. I hate that I still love you. She sobbed into her hands. And somewhere deep in the house, beneath the ringing silence, my phone buzzed on the desk. Still open on the last video I'd edited. Help me hit 2,000 subscribers. A line meant as a joke. A light-hearted plea to strangers on the internet. But now it echoed like something else entirely. A reminder that sometimes the people closest to you drift so far away, you barely recognize the distance until you can't reach them anymore. And in that dim, suffocating bedroom, with my wife crying into her palms and the weight of betrayal hanging thick in the air, I finally understood. Some stories end long before the final line is spoken.